Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today we begin a special presentation of torchbearers, hosted by the one and only, the legendary Paul Dale Roberts. Greetings, Paul.
Greetings, Hercules. And we really have some great guests tonight. We have Vince and Kristi of La Muerte Paranormal. I hope I said that right. Did I say that right?
You're called La Muerte Paranormal.
Did you like the way I rolled my tongue?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, you've been practicing.
Yeah. Okay, well, before we get to know you, I'm going to go ahead and have the panel introduce themselves. And also, too, I want to let the panel know that if you have any comments or questions for Vince and Kristi, please jump right in. Don't be shy and ask away or make your comments or whatever. So the first one is Hercules Invictus. Go ahead and give a little bio on who you are.
I'm a mythic personage. I'm an explorer. I'm an author. I'm a lecturer, and I'm a producer tonight.
Fantastic. Thank you, Hercules. Donny Cho.
My name is Donny Cho. I have a channel on YouTube called Donny Cho Says Stuff. Yeah, and just come check it out, and glad to be here.
Thank you so much, there, Donny. Sage Gatto.
Hi, my name's Sage. I'm a paranormal investigator from Pittsburgh, PA. I'm big into the Civil War, do a lot of history stuff with the Civil War, and primary, as of lately, been focusing my investigations on battlefields of the Civil War.
Fantastic. Thank you. Steve Ward.
I'm Steve Ward, live in Point Pleasant, West by God, Virginia, home of the Mothman. I work in the Mothman Museum on weekends, and I have a podcast called The High Strangeness Factor on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.
Thank you very much there, Steve. Michael K. Waterman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Waterman. I am the high priest and founder of the Furnateru temple that is to do with the ancient Egyptian pantheon. I am an author. You can find my work at todayswitch.net, which is a magazine I write for. I am a paranormalist also. I've had, 35 years or more in that art. I am a hereditary witch. And a psychic medium. So you can contact me either on Facebook or what have you. And it's wonderful to meet all of you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. And we got the other Michael, Michael Kopf.
And thank you for having me on. I am Michael Kopf. I'm a metaphysical paranormal investigator, podcast host of The Energy That Surrounds Us and Writing Through the Unknown. And I do have books available through Amazon, and I can be seen here as long as Paul and Hercules keep inviting me.
And I'm Paul Dale Roberts. I'm an author, former paranormal investigator. I've been on like 2,500 investigations, got burned out, don't do it anymore, but I do a lot of researching, write articles for various magazines, and I write books. So, Vince and Kristi, thank you for being here. How in the heck did you guys get involved with the paranormal?
You want to kind of start with your childhood background?
Yeah, I grew up in a haunted house, so that was kind of normal to see things for me, to hear things, but it kind of freaked my parents out, and a woman across the street did that, like, kind of writing where you go into a trance and then your hand just moves and does the writing, and then when you come out of it, you read it. And she told my mom, like, they don't mean you guys any harm. They just, they know she can see them, she can hear them, and so, they get excited and they're going to keep doing that until she tells them, like, go away, and ignores them. And so then I worked pretty hard to shut all of that down. Things were kind of quiet mostly. And then I think later, and Vince can tell you the rest of the story, but for me as an adult, I really just wanted to know, like, did I really see and hear things? Did I really have that sense, or was that like childhood, teenage imagination?
Yeah.
That almost sounds like my story because as a child, I lived in a haunted house. All kinds of terrible things were happening to me. As I got older, I wanted to know if those were childhood nightmares or was it really true? And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Vince, you were about to say something.
Oh no. Yeah, that's interesting. You guys have similar stories. I would just say for me, I've just always been into like the TV shows of it, right? Like all your usual stuff we've all kind of seen. But I was working with a couple and she has some abilities. So she started talking to me about our job and the building being haunted. So she asked if they could do an investigation and so on. So then I started researching and looking into things, and then I noticed like, oh wow, like normal people like us could do it, right? Like I just always thought it was a Hollywood thing, and I found all these channels on YouTube. So I was like, hey, maybe let's try to, tag along and see what we think. So we did. We tagged along on an investigation. We loved it, and then here we are. We just started buying equipment and getting into it and booking our own. So we started our own channel on YouTube and all platforms really. La Muerte Paranormal. So yeah, we've been doing it about almost 2 years now.
Has it been that long?
Mhm.
That's cool. That's cool. What are some of the places that you've investigated?
Yeah, so we're based out of Arizona. So we mainly have done Arizona, right? So all your big spots here, your Jerome Grand Hotel, Bisbee has the Copper Queen, Tombstone, right? So we've done all the big ones here. Hotel San Carlos, downtown Phoenix. But we've also branched out to California. So we've gotten quite a bit of those, like your Queen Mary, for example. That's probably our biggest investigation, is that. But we've done the Cosmopolitan, the Horton Grand. And then we leave in 2 days. We're going to be spending some time with Annabelle. So we'll be at Ed and Lorraine's on Thursday. So really excited for that. So we're venturing outside of the state and outside of the West Coast. So yeah.
That's really
Have y'all
cool.
been to the Preston Castle yet in California?
No, not yet. Not
The
yet.
other thing is in Arizona, have you been to the Scottsdale Princess?
Oh, I
It,
didn't even know about that place being
yeah,
haunted.
it's a relatively, I guess it's what, maybe 40, 50 years old, but many people have died there. And it's also been supposed to be sacred ground, I think, for the Pueblo. And they were really
Oh,
angry when they built the hotel. That might be worth you guys investigating.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Thank
didn't
you for
know
the
that.
tip.
And then it's a nice hotel on top of it, right? So like, yeah,
Gorgeous hotel, yeah.
yeah. So okay, we'll definitely add that one.
I just wanted to add quickly. I also grew up in a haunted house. I knew the ghost's name. He died about 11 or 12 years before my parents bought the house, and the lady who sold it to them was her mother, was his mother, and she knew, and she didn't tell us anything, and it was really kind of fun. He was a 9-year-old boy, and he was very, very, very mischievous ghost. And it was kind of fun when I was a kid because it was like having an invisible playmat. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But we knew the name of one of the ghosts in my childhood home. He was the guy that built the house and most of the houses on that block, actually. And we actually did a little bit of investigating there not too long ago. And my dad never believed us ever. And till one day, maybe 10 years ago, he was getting up onto the roof for something and his ladder fell straight back. He landed flat on his back. And he swears to this day that Jack was the guy's name, pushed him off the ladder. And when we brought our equipment, he said, ask him why he pushed me. So we did. And we didn't get why. We did get an admission that yes, he did push him.
Mm.
But my mom also was like, please don't air that until my house sells.
We're going back. We only did a short hour real quick, but we're definitely going back and we're going to do a few hours in there and see what we get.
What is with all the little skulls?
Oh, so this is where we've been holding our live sales on TikTok. So we have La Muerte Paranormal, and then I've been obsessed with all the crystal skulls. So we decided that we would sell them to support my habit. And then I kind of like branched out a bit. So we've got crystals of all different varieties and sizes, from like cute little guys that you can carry in your pocket to like the big statement pieces. And then, all the other pretty things, wolves and moons and spheres and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and you could see all that on La Muerte Skull and Stone.
It's
Oh,
something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
What's that
Yeah,
one made out of,
That.
Paul?
yeah. This is resin, but my wife makes these.
Oh,
That's cool.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool.
You
Yeah.
know, you can
Mm.
put crystals in, Paul. You can add crystals into that one. If it's a resin, you can actually put things into it that'll give it more energy.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep, I have a friend that does that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
and then she also makes this. The light went out, but it's like crystal,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it has a light to it. And then this right here is a little doggy paw, and inside is a nail from my little dog. They trimmed his nail.
Oh, that's a cool like memorial piece.
Yeah. Well, she's still alive, but
That's
but
good.
she had an embedded toenail, and so we had it cut off. The vet cut it, and we placed it in this little paw.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's cool. Hey,
Yeah, so
so
go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, I've been at Tombstone. Did you guys find anything at Tombstone?
Yeah, so we stayed at the Larian Motel. This was super early into our ghosts and investigations, our paranormal stuff. Yeah, we got some stuff there. We they mentioned like Wyatt Earp, and then they turned off our camera. So we got all the usual type things. Our next investigation that we're going to be airing is actually on Gleason, Arizona, which is 20 minutes from Tombstone. So we're going to tie it into Tombstone, and then end of this month we're doing a 3-day investigation in Tombstone with Paranormal 247. They invited us out there. So yeah, it's going to be some big things. The Undertaker coffee shop is there. We're going to be doing that. And then we rented out the whole bordello. So we'll have that to ourselves all 3 nights to
Cool.
see what we get.
That's
Yeah,
supposed to be
last time we
very
were in
haunted. Huh? That's supposed to be very, very haunted, that
Mhm.
bordello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time when we did the Gleason investigation, we actually stayed in Bordello, but we were so tired from Gleason that we didn't even get a chance to investigate much in the hotel. So
Yeah, but we were with a medium, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Wyatt Earp's here." She was pointing them out, a few of the other guys, Billy the Kid. So yeah, so we're excited to go back.
Billy the Kid at Tombstone?
Yeah,
Why
that's what
not?
I said too. But she
Yeah,
said, yeah, that he was there.
Billy the Kid. Yeah,
Why
because I
not?
did a lot of research on Billy the Kid, and I never saw anywhere place where he crossed paths with Wyatt Earp or Tombstone or anything like that. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Have
so
you
we plan
guys
to ask some
also
questions.
Well,
have
they
you
could
guys
have
ever
been there
worked out in
visiting them.
yeah.
Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, Wyatt Earp, he visited Masterson, and of course Doc Holliday,
Yeah.
Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett, and there was one thing I researched where it says that it was possible that Billy Kid could have crossed paths with Jesse James, but I'm not sure.
Have you guys also ever worked in Nevada? They say that in Reno, there's one of the old casinos. It's like a dive, but that's very haunted also, particularly in the back behind the casino where the restaurant area is. So it'll be very, very haunted.
Yeah, we were supposed to do Nevada in September, but some plans fell through. We're going out there for an event. The event got canceled. But yeah, that's on the list because there's a ton of places we want to try in Nevada. I'm thinking that's either going to be end of year or like first quarter next year, but Nevada's for sure on the list.
I spent some time in the because of me with Egypt, in the Luxor,
Yep.
and that has some interesting characters in there. There are people that were gamblers that disappeared, and they walk around. You can see them around the casino floor.
Yeah, Luxor's the main on the strip. That's the main hotel we want to do.
Um,
There's a lot of suicide. I guess from the inside, right? It's easy to jump off the balcony from there.
well, because
Um,
it's like this, you know.
yeah.
I love that place. I stayed there. I didn't want to move. I wanted to move.
Yeah, I
I
remember
wanted to
that place.
move
I won
in.
blackjack there one time.
It's
Oh,
so
sweet.
beautiful.
Yeah, and then they got the Titanic and then the bodies exhibit there too, right? So you could
Hmm.
have some ties into those things as well. So yeah, Luxor's definitely on the list. The Clown Motel, the Mizpah, Goldfield, like all those St. Pete's. Yeah, there's a few places we want to try to hit up.
Caesar's Palace too. It's really old, so that would have a lot of energy and activity.
Okay.
There
I
was an
was
old movie entitled Billy the Kid versus Dracula. I
oh
doubt
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
doubt
I remember that. Yeah.
I doubt that was a
Uh,
documentary though. I just don't know.
Hmm.
Worst
Yeah.
one I've heard is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer. Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or Zombie Killer. He was also too a zombie killer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Hansel and Gretel Witch
So,
Hunter.
what's your guys' origin story as a team and the name behind the team? Because I always find those really interesting.
You want to start us out for?
I think for me, I like I celebrate Dia de los Muertos. I love it. It's my favorite holiday. We set up the altar every year. We keep a smaller year-round altar with, our loved ones up. Um, and I just love like the Katrinas that you see. And they're actually all over my house.
Yeah.
So it seemed kind of natural when we were looking at a name that it would be tied to that.
Yeah, and then, like we researched and we wanted something different, something creative, something that kind of represented us and like our background too. So like we're Mexican American, husband and wife, born and raised Arizona, so Chicanos. I got Aztec Mexica blood. So yeah, just really kind of wanted to tie it all together. So La Muerte, the dead, is basically that, the dead paranormal. So yeah, that's what we went with.
And my cousin, she did like a little investigation of my family history, and my mother is Mexican, Filipino, and Chinese. And my father's French, English, Irish, and Arabian. So I'm really mixed. But the Mexican part of it, she said that it originates from the Aztecs.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're on 23% with the Aztec, which is the Mexica. And then yeah, the family's from Sonora, that side of Mexico. So close to Arizona are the ties.
Did you ever do 23 and Me?
Yep, that's exactly what we did.
Okay. Well, check this out. Okay, like when I went to Tahiti, the people were trying to tell me that I was Polynesian. I go, no, I'm not Polynesian. And then I did an investigation in at this Native American reservation, and I said, how come you invited us? Because they never invited any other paranormal group. And they said, because you're a brother, you're Native American. I go, no, I'm not. Well, yeah, when I did 23 and Me, come to find out I was Native American and I am Polynesian because that's where the Filipino thing comes in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's just mind blowing. Yeah.
Funny.
Arizona. Okay, I was stationed at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, which is very haunted. And I did it like a little investigation at Tombstone, and I went to Old Tucson, where they made a lot of those movies and TV shows,
Yep.
like High Chaparral. That place is haunted.
I've
Did
been
you ever?
looking at booking that,
Yeah, so
actually.
we booked it and we just kind of canceled because the fee's a little high, but everything I was researching, like I couldn't find like how haunted is it. So I would love to hear about it. Because yeah, that's on the table for us. And there's
Wow.
not a lot of videos on it.
Yeah, and it seems like it's haunted by stuntmen and celebrities who were involved in some of the TV shows, and they liked that place so much that they went back to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
That's
right, we'll get it back on the list.
Yeah, it's a cool place. Unfortunately, they only do tours on certain days, and so the day I was there, of course, was the day you weren't allowed to do any tours. So
Of
I got to
course.
see the outside that said Old Tucson Film Studio, but that was it.
Yeah, you have to come back. But yeah, we were gonna do it mid-September and we canceled and we rescheduled something else, but they got a big Halloween thing, right? So October is kind of hard to get in there for any investigations. But we're hoping we'll add it back after that.
So do you guys put the makeup on too to investigate?
No,
No,
not yet.
no, she goes pretty normal. I always try to wear some of our merch and stuff, but yeah, like anyone who watches this probably thinks this is all I wear. Because I got this and then two tank tops and stuff, and that's on all the investigations.
I've always told him I want to dress up though.
Yeah. But
And
okay.
one of the mediums, or the medium that goes with us, said that she wanted to dress up too. So I'm sure that's coming soon.
But every Halloween she does the makeup.
Oh.
She does that's her costume.
Well, you've got the hair like Frida Kahlo, so that's cool.
My little neighbor was like, "You're that every year. Don't you want to be something different?" Nope, I don't.
That's what you do. It makes sense.
Well, that's why the makeup, you switch a color up and go there. It's different.
There you go.
Mhm.
I do
Yeah.
airbrush. I'll come out for you.
so. Do you guys use a lot of ghost hunting equipment when you do your investigations?
Yeah, we do. And like my favorite always switches, but like we do the normal stuff, right? You got the REM pods, dead bell, cat balls. We got the spirit box. We do use phone apps, but we always do it with something else, right? For confirmation, whether it's the dead bell, whether it's the spirit box at the same time. We got like net lights, trace lights. So yeah, we got all the things basically.
Flashlights.
Oh yeah, we like to use the flashlights. I would say probably the flashlights and I always get excited for the cat balls for whatever reason, but that and when they turn on the flashlight, so we got a red one and a black one, and we'll say like turn on the black for yes, the red for no. So we love to use that for yes or no communication.
I think the hotel in downtown Phoenix was maybe the first time we saw the
Yeah.
flashlights like actually work for us. And then Arcadia Ranch, they used them quite a bit.
Bunch.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Those two places probably used every single thing we took, they used them. So that was pretty cool.
Have you guys ever had a moment where you saw something and just totally freaked you out and you go, oh my God, there is an afterlife? I mean, I had one of those moments. Did you ever have a moment like that?
Yeah, you for sure, right?
Yeah. Yeah, in the house freaked me out. Because you just see it out of the corner of your eye, and you see this like shadow figure, in a black hat, just kind of go by, and you're going, "Did I see that? Did I not see that?" And then I kept seeing it, and at one point we had to redo the pool in our backyard. And so it was all emptied. And for whatever reason, I walked down into the bottom and I was just sitting there at night looking at the stars. And he's in the corner just kind of staring me down. And then I was thinking, like, oh, I should go inside or something. I don't think I want to be alone with him.
But you've had like the old school dishwasher buttons push in, music from the walls.
Yeah, the dishwasher buttons pushing in and out. That was kind of creepy too. I think that was when my mother decided she believed us. Was first he turned on the stereo full blast and flipped it through a bunch of channels, and then when she went into the kitchen, the dishwasher buttons were coming in and out, and she believed us. Then my dad took the latter incident.
Yeah.
So
But
what location did you guys go to that you were like, wow, this is more active than I thought? That
yeah.
really surprised you?
Yeah, well, just to go back a question, and for me, like my first experience, like oh crap, there is an afterlife. Two things stand out for me was like the first time I heard footsteps, and that was at an old YMCA building. Like that was crazy. They were super loud. But then in Bisbee, we did the Oliver House. And we booked the most haunted room, but we were like the only ones there. So he let us go into what they call grandma's room, which is supposed to be like this nice, peaceful spirit. So we're setting things up, and she confirmed that it was her later. But she pulled my shirt so hard that it spun me all the way around. And like if we would talk about like that happening, I would have been like, we probably would have been freaked out and left. But for whatever reason in the moment, like, yeah, we just stay there and keep doing things. So like that kind of stands out for me, those
And I
things.
think that kind of answers his question too,
Yeah.
because I think we were expecting like some nice, peaceful investigation, or we're just
Yeah.
gonna go talk with this old woman for a little bit, and he gets like tugged so hard that
Yeah.
that was pretty surprising.
But yeah, that and like the Queen Mary, we got a bunch of activity from B340. We investigated the other parts of the ship, and like yeah, we just the feeling of it, and then like it was goosebumps constantly, like electric static, all that. We got all the feels in the Queen Mary to also justify the equipment going off.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. My moment that I was talking about, it was this one house, and I never had this experience again. And I've been on all these investigations, but it was like I walked into this room. There was 5 investigators in there. They were all men, and you can hear a little girl giggling. And I go, "Do you guys hear that girl giggling?" And they go, "Yeah, we're recording it." I go, "Man." And then I hear her giggle again. I said, "It's coming from the corner of this bed, but I can't see her." So I put my head down and I go, "Hello." And she goes, "Hello." I go,
Oh damn.
"Leave." My mind was blown.
Dang.
Yeah. And so we conducted a little seance, and all kinds of other stuff happened. But that
Right.
was the best investigation I ever had.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's really
Paul, we
cool.
had that happen once. I had a disembodied voice actually answer us an investigation in New York at the old Rolling Hills Asylum. And we were in the electric shock therapy, and somebody heard footsteps out in the hallway and just simply asked him, like, calling out to me because I was by the door, just saying, like, hey, is someone walking around out there? And I just looked over my shoulder. I was like, no one's walking. And quite literally, right as I said that, a voice answered us saying yes from the middle of the room, but no one said it.
Oh wow.
It
That's
was
cool.
really creepy. I have it on
Yeah.
my video recording.
The
Oh nice. We'll have
scariest
to check
thing
it
that
out.
the scariest thing I ever saw as far as life after death was my father's mother. Um, she died when I was about 9, and I saw her at the top of the stairs between my brother and my bedroom, and we weren't allowed to go to the funeral. I was 9, so my brother was probably 6, and my sister was, just born, so they didn't let us. But I told my parents exactly what she looked like and the nightgown they put her in the coffin. And she was
Oh
standing
wow.
up there, and I looked when my mouth dropped. I said, "That's Grandma." And she looked down. I mean, the head looked down, and she was gone. She was checking to make sure her grandchildren were okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I can't tell you. It scared the dickens out of me.
I bet. Yeah, 9 years old.
I remember when
Yeah.
we lived in Pennsylvania like 15 years ago, and we were there for a good decade. We lived in the Poconos, the not forested mountains of Pennsylvania. And when we first moved there, one night at 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard some children singing. So I figured that people were vacationing from New York and New Jersey, and the kids were playing or singing. But it kept happening on random nights during different seasons. So in the middle of the winter too, it happened like 2, 3 in the morning with the children singing. We were investigating a lot of paranormal things in Pennsylvania, so we investigated that. There were absolutely no incidents of anything ill happening to a bunch of kids. So we couldn't figure out what it was. But even people who came and visited us in our home occasionally would hear the singing children would ask about it the next day. They'd say they were awoken like 3 o'clock in the morning, and there were some kids singing. So
Oh, wow.
Wow.
that remains unexplained.
Yeah. See, we would love to experience stuff like that, but we haven't, not quite to that level.
Although the kids still, like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them.
Yeah. Is it really kids? Is it not something pretending to be kids?
Yeah, that's always a question. I don't know. I looked to see like what was the reservoir that was there before it was a reservoir. There was a town there. There was a school there. Like all the records we looked at, nothing untoward happened to anybody that would justify a haunting of that type for over a long period of time. So it might not have been kids. It might have been something else pretending to be kids. In one of our shows recently, I shared we had a ghost cat that was later born through one of our cats and became a physical cat. And she was a ghost for a long time. It took me a year and a half to trust that she was a ghost, not something intended to be a ghost cat. But these kids were just singing outside. That you could hear them from the window or from the door.
Hmm.
I didn't really get a chance to study them up close. None
Might
of
have been
them-
like favorite vacation spot or something that they returned to.
Was there a schoolhouse near there?
There was a schoolhouse, but nothing happened there, and there was even a schoolhouse in the reservoir that flooded at the town to make the reservoir, but nobody drowned or nobody died. It was non-tragic.
Maybe something wasn't reported.
That's possible.
I'm feeling like there might have been a fire.
Maybe.
Mm. The hair on the back of my neck just stood up.
Yeah, that was kind of.
I have a question. But before I ask my question, I keep you keep saying things that trigger these old movies in my head. You have to forgive me. You mentioned the Aztec connection. Did you ever see the movie Wrestling Women versus the Aztec Mummy?
Yeah.
He's not
A
allowed
real
to watch
movie.
stuff like that.
No, I've never seen that.
Where is Brian
Decades old.
Sims when you need him? Oh God.
It wasn't good enough to demand a sequel. But anyway, my real question is this: do you ever use anything like dowsing rods, Y rods, L rods, or pendulums in your work?
Yeah, she's done pendulums and dowsing rods.
That was probably the most amazing thing at the Jerome Grand because I was using the dowsing rods, and I think really that was our first solo investigation even. And the rods had swung like all the way back. And then all of a sudden they started moving. It took a long time, but they eventually returned to center. I mean, when those things come, like you could feel the energy pushing up against them to come back.
So
It
you
was
actually
wild.
felt the sensation when they were moving.
Yeah, that was
Fascinating.
wild.
Have you
I'm
ever
glad I'm not the only
encountered-
one that uses this.
I use them.
Have you ever
They're
encountered
very
a
reliable.
writer,
I have a pair right here.
Tom Lethbridge? He was a famous dowser in England to use a pendulum. Anyway, it's worth looking up. He wrote a book called The Power of the Pendulum and several other ones prior to that. Hard to get his books because they've gone to third-party sellers. But it was fascinating the things he did with a pendulum. It's too much to go into now. But if there's actually he had a good write-up in one of Colin Wilson's books called Mysteries. Mysteries is a huge book that has these gigantic chapters in it, and there's one devoted to Lethbridge, which might be affordable. But I definitely recommend people track down Tom Lethbridge, otherwise known as T.C. Lethbridge.
And you know, so funny about
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that I feel like I'm not that good with yet. My pendulum is very inconsistent, and I don't know if I just don't spend enough time with it or enough practice, but I feel like it's pretty rare that anything actually happens. I've always got one with me, but doesn't really do what I want it to do most of the time. But I'm gonna look those up. I took a note down so I would remember.
What he did, he marked it off in inches, and he could roll it up, and he found the pendulum would react to different substances at different rates. He called it in inches, and he just found out all kinds of fascinating things with the. He found it. He went from 1 to 40, including concepts like life and death, and then when he extended it beyond 40, it's repeated all over again, but it was off center from the object that he was dowsing. Anyway, it's just fascinating the stuff that he discovered with the use of a pendulum.
And you know, I just thought of a story that happened to me. I read a Life magazine article about this guy who went to Stonehenge, and he pointed these dowsing rods at Stonehenge and received an electrical shock. So when I visited England, I stopped at Stonehenge. I had my dowsing rods, and I pointed it to Stonehenge, thinking I was going to get an electrical shock, and I didn't. But I did have a tourist that walked past me and go, "What are you doing?" I said, "It's too long of a story to tell you." He goes, "Weird." I go, "Oh."
Did
Whatever.
you use metal dowsing rods or wooden one?
Metal.
Mine are copper.
Yeah, because that's I work with a wand that's copper and has a black tourmaline on the top, which sends away negativity. And I know that you have to use copper when you're going near there. The stars and stones will have electrical charges.
That's cool.
There is a book that name I can't remember, but there was some research done where they would use electric meters and so forth at various stones, and they were actually getting readings, electrical readings.
Cool.
So there is really something to that. I wish
Yeah,
I
it
could
makes
remember the name of
sense.
it.
Like they say
You'll-
that the reason that crystals do certain things, each have different properties, is that they're emitting a unique frequency that matches to a frequency within the body.
It's one of those thousands of books I just haven't gotten to read yet.
Oh, I
It's on
hear
my
ya.
it's on my short list of 150 books, but I haven't got to it.
I would say in 2 years, if you get a chance, guys, go to Tikal,
Oh,
or Chichen Itza. It's very important because the vibrations there, you're Aztec. I have an Aunt Lucy who's traveled over now, but she was 100% Aztec. She was from Mexico City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
she was very, very psychic, and she always insisted that we go to Tikal.
I was actually in Tikal in 1974, and I got to see the Rebel base before it was in Star Wars.
Very cool.
Cool.
I was in Chichen Itza and Tulum and some other places in Mexico.
I was too, Hercules.
I was too, but guess who's sitting over there? Penn and Teller, because we did the bullshit TV show that they did was called Bullshit.
Mhm.
And they actually flew us down there, and we did an investigation, and they had me climbing up these steps. And I said, in the brochure, it tells you how many steps it is. They say, well, count it anyway. So I get halfway, and you can hear me. I go, I lost count.
There are a couple of hundred, aren't there?
Yeah, I think we went to Chichen Itza, but by the time we got there, you can't go
climb
onto
it.
the pyramids anymore.
And that was before we started like all this too.
We'll need an escalator.
Yeah.
There are jaguars there too. I remember I got lost in the forested part of it, and then I found my path back. That located some pyramids I passed, some smaller ones, and there was a jaguar print in the muddy water
Oh, sure.
path, and it was huge.
If you guys,
Wow.
get a chance, if you get the Penn and Teller's Bullshit Show, look for the Apocalypse 2012 episode, and you'll see me on there climbing the steps.
Oh, cool. Okay, we'll look it up.
Is
Paul,
that
you
why
sure
the
it wasn't-
show ended, Paul?
Huh?
Is that why the show ended? You couldn't make it up?
Get down.
Even on the second step, I was winded.
You should have sent Paul. You should have sent up your stunt double.
Yeah,
There you go.
And then it was so funny because Penn and Teller, they go, Penn, is it Penn that talks or is it Teller that talks? I think it's Penn that
Penn.
talks.
Penn
Yeah.
talks.
And does, yeah.
And Penn goes, I just hope that moron Paul Roberts isn't still climbing up the pyramid. He said, and then they show me, and I'm losing count.
God.
Hey, Well, I was going to ask you, Vince, Kristi, what do you guys think about orbs?
We
Or
go back and forth. So I'll include them every now and then, but I always put like, comment on what you think they are. We've got a ton, and it all depends where we're at, right? Like we were just in Ajo, Arizona at the Phelps Dodge Hospital. And that they're remodeling. It was abandoned for lots and lots of years. So like there, like there's dust everywhere. All the windows are broken. You're gonna get bugs, right? So like we would never call it out like there. I will put an arrow on some of our investigations just to highlight it, but most of the time I think it's a light source or bug, dust, something like that.
yeah,
We've had a few that's kind of changed, like how it's looked, and I called that out, but most of the time, yeah, I don't think it's anything.
yeah, and orbs can be anything from lint to skin flakes, dust, dewdrops, light refractions, whatever. But check this out. We had this one investigation in which Emily the ghost would drain the energy from the occupants. And so one of my investigators says, Paul, I got to sit down. He goes, I feel fatigued. I feel dizzy. I feel my vertigo's off and everything else. I said, I wonder if Emily's draining your energy. So I said, Emily, if you're listening to me, kiss him on the mouth. And three of us take a picture, and there's an orb on his mouth.
Oh, wow.
I said, oh my God, that's intelligent movement. And I said, okay, Emily, once again, if you're listening to me, will you please sit on his lap? We take a photo, and there's a orb hovering over his lap. So when I was doing investigations, if the house was really haunted, I would place my hand on the wall, and I say, appear by my hand. And I swear I have pictures of orbs on my hand.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, we're gonna
Try that.
for sure. Like we did call one out on our last video because the medium said there was a nurse, Ben. He was in this corner of the room that we were talking to. He says, I'll be right back. And then you see an orb shoot out from that corner. So like that I did include in the video. So it has to be things like that. But we're definitely going to try what you just said for sure.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
So
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you have a female orb sitting in your lab vents. If Kristi's going to be sitting there going, no.
Ben will be using dowsing rods to talk to Vince.
Yeah, exactly. She won't allow it.
It sounds like necessary
Oh,
meeting for taser.
Yeah.
Take back.
And do you guys do like what is called a EVP sweep? Like when we did investigations, we would go through the house, go to every room, and do about 3 or 4 EVP sessions just to see if we pick up anything. We would call it quick and dirty EVPs. Do you guys do anything like that?
We haven't. We just got a digital recorder that we're gonna use. So like we'll do it probably for things like that. We will with the K2 meters and kind of get a reading every so often, but we hardly even use our K2. But yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I highly recommend using your phone as well for voice recording. I use my iPhone more than I use my voice recorder on investigations.
Okay.
I feel like we catch stuff that way that doesn't pick up other places. Like I think the video of Oliver House where we caught most of the audio stuff was on my phone, and we didn't even realize that we had caught anything in the moment. I was just playing the videos back as we were driving home, and I was like, oh my God, if I would have heard that, I would have slept in the car.
But do you just use like the voice memo?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
okay.
use is voice memo on my phone. And then sometimes I'll actually run it side by side with the voice recorder or side by side with the camera because you'll be shocked what the audio will pick up.
Okay. We haven't used the voice memo app on an investigation, so yeah, we'll try that. You guys are giving us some good
Sometimes
things.
I'll just turn it on while we're walking around the hallway and just let it run, even if we're just bantering back and forth. And you'll be surprised. Sometimes ghosts will chime in and say something to you or will mock you or whatever, and you're not expecting there to be anything there with your conversation.
Nice. Okay. What do you guys think about like the phone apps for communication?
Me personally, I only started using the Spirit Talker app about a couple years ago when we were investigating a Civil War hospital in Virginia. We were actually talking about a battle that caught the battlefield caught fire mid battle, and a lot of the wounded and dead were taken to this hospital. And we weren't even mentioning the fire. We weren't even mentioning really anything. Just talking about the battle. And out of nowhere, it came on and said, "My body is burning right now." And we
Oh
were just
man.
like, "Oh shit! Okay, I guess this thing actually works."
Yeah. See, we're believers that it works too. Like as long as we're using it with other equipment, right? Like if you use it enough, you get all like you get certain words that you know, okay, that says that every single time, right? We delete those out. But we'll
Hmm.
do things like we'll point at somebody and say like, "What's his name?" or "What color shirt is she wearing?" And so we will do things like that, and it answers correctly. So like we use them quite a bit actually. So I know they get a bad knock, but like we use it for things like that and feel it works pretty well.
I
Yeah,
I
feel
don't
like
see
they
why they
only get a
couldn't work
bad knock.
theoretically. If all the other equipment works the way they do, I don't see why they can't work. I would, if you are using apps, if you got more than one people using apps, I would recommend using different apps because I think the way they're programmed is going to be individually each different.
Okay.
So it might just expand the possibilities of what you could pick up.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
yeah. I
I
like
feel
the
like they get a
Spirit
bad
Talker.
knock because everybody will anytime someone gets a word on it, they'll just immediately say it's evidence, regarding they could just say anything random, and they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, there we go, it's talking," but it might not even be relative. So I feel like that's why they get a bad rep.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And I like the Spirit Tucker because it's not the one word. It's like sentence. So it's like, oh, this is different. But the Ovulus, I started figuring out real quick. It only has so many words and it cycles through them. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I was kind of disappointed in that after I used it a couple of times.
Us
Hmm.
Yeah,
too.
we stopped using. That was probably the first phone app we stopped using was that one. But we use like Necrophonic, Necrometer, and then there's this new one we're gonna try out this week. So we'll see. I think it's like M3 or something like that. Another paranormal team made that one. So we're gonna try that out.
Well, you know what? The time really flies. I'm getting a signal to start wrapping it up. So, Vince and Kristi, gosh, thanks a lot. You guys were just fantastic. Can you tell everybody how people can contact you?
Yeah. So, and again, thanks for having us. We really enjoyed this, and you guys gave us a ton of stuff to go research and books and everything. But we're La Muerte Paranormal on all platforms. On Instagram, we have some underscores, right? Muerte underscore paranormal. But everything else is just straight La Muerte Paranormal. We also have our website you could do, and you can see all our stones on there at lamuerteparanormal.com. And then we're trying to get her TikTok going for La Muerte Skull and Stone so she could go live on her channel. So YouTube's the biggest platform that we put the most content out and want the most subscribers. After that, I would say TikTok. But yeah, we're trying.
Right on, right on. Hercules, how can people reach you?
I can be reached on YouTube, and I can be reached on Facebook, and I can be found on Amazon and Goodreads if you go to the author pages.
Fantastic. Thank you. Donny Cho, how can people contact you?
You can find me on Facebook and mostly on YouTube. Like my channel is Donny Cho Says Stuff. Yeah, and I'll be right there.
Fantastic. Sage Gatto, how can people contact you?
You can find me on Facebook at Sage Gatto. I'm also on TikTok at Still City Ghost Chasers, or you can just search my name and it'll come up. I'm also on Instagram, same handles. I'm primarily more active on TikTok and Facebook, though.
Okay. Thank you. Steve Ward, how can people reach you?
Steve Ward, Facebook, type in Point Pleasant. You'll probably find me. Come and see me Saturdays at the Mothman Museum in downtown Point Pleasant. And come and visit all of us on the 19th and 20th of September for the Mothman Festival.
I meant to ask Vince and Kristi, do you guys do UFOs and cryptids?
No, I mean, like, so we got the buddy that we went out and saw him do it. He showed us the lights off of like a huge parking structure. We are gonna do Superstitions Mountains here in Arizona,
Oh
and
yeah,
that has everything you could imagine tied to it. So
I
that's
I went there with my dad when I was a little
oh
boy.
sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that'll
What?
probably be in October. We're gonna do that one once it cools down.
Gotta be
And,
too cold for snakes.
and Sedonia.
Yep. Sedona too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exotic places.
Do you
And
know? I don't know of any specific, Paul, but I'm sure like just out in the rocks and stuff, you could find things.
I go to Sedona just for the grounding, the vortexes, but I didn't think there's any place that's haunted.
oh,
Oh, there's a lot.
no,
Really?
Sedonia. Yes, you have portals. You have portals. You have UFOs. You have the invisible porcupine man. People, yeah. There was actually an encounter of this thing that's invisible and had like little needles coming out of his body.
Oh, dang.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes over here.
Oh, and check this out. Okay. This guy submitted, he was from Arizona. He took some pictures of a ghost that was coming out of a cave over in Sedonia. I mean, it was, they showed it on Paranormal Caught on Camera. And he submitted the pictures to me. He goes, do whatever you want with it, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I'm not after publicity, but this is what I found. And I mean, the pictures were so clear. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Oh, okay. Get back to what I was doing. Michael K. Waterman, how can people reach you?
Well, that's a good way to do it right there on Facebook. Michael K. Waterman. You can get me at Phone a Wizard because I'm the Wizard of Phone a Wizard on Facebook. You can reach me at ComWest underscore setback underscore ComWest set on TikTok. And I'm on all of Hercules little panel groups on YouTube. And you can get me at todayswitch.net, Michael K at todayswitch.net if you have questions.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. And the other Michael, Michael Kopf.
I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Amazon. And I am on TikTok, Instagram, usually for promoting shows. And I can be found with Paul on his, what is it, pop culture podcast now, and all things paranormal, and
Yeah.
on Hercules's panels. And yeah, so if you find Hercules's panels, you'll probably find me.
Yeah. In fact, I did a chat GPT, and I asked. I said, "What podcast can you find me at?" And it had Hercules Invictus production. I said, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool. They recognize us." But as for me, you can find me on Hercules Invictus Productions, Paul's Pop Culture, All Things Paranormal, where I do some podcasting. I write for several magazines like Phenomena Magazine, Paranormal Underground Magazine, blah, 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 blah. And then, and I write ebooks. So, and I used to be in the comic book field. So if you ever get any of my ebooks, you'll find some comic book stuff in there. Plus, you'll find some paranormal stuff that I researched. So, anyway, we have.
The good news is Wrestling Women versus the Aztec Mummy is on DVD for $47. Go ahead, Paul.
No, sorry, no.
I think I got 5 minutes to tell you my best EVP. This one cemetery was supposedly very, very haunted. I went in my car, rolled up my windows. You couldn't hear a sound except whatever I was doing inside that car. And I said, "Is there anyone here?" Quick and dirty EVP. I play it back, and it says, "I'm right here." And holy cow, it's in the back seat of my car. But when I left the cemetery and as I went down the road, I said, "Are you still here?" Nothing. Are you still
Okay.
here? Nothing. So it's something that it seems like if they're haunting a place, they can only go so far. That's what it seems like.
Yeah,
Unless,
we keep bringing something home with us, so
Yeah, we think we have something here right now. So I don't know, Michael, if you picked up on anything, but yeah, we're gonna do some Palo Santo tonight and some other things.
Use some frankincense also and camphor. That'll help you
okay.
much more. Most of the if you have anything from that area, camphor chases it away.
Palo
All right.
Santo and sage are always my go-tos for
Mhm.
clearing energy.
The problem is a lot of traditions don't like sage.
yeah.
Camphor and frankincense are the oldest incenses in the world.
What
Yeah,
I
I've got
use
some.
what I use to clear out a house is black cat firecrackers and M8. I get them
I
out
want
real.
to keep the house. So.
We don't want to burn anything down.
Oh my god.
Another
Okay.
thing you can do is burn a black candle, 7-day candle, and another candle of another color, and leave them lit. And as the black goes down, it's supposed to suck all the negative out, and the other color is supposed to fill the void with whatever intention you put in there. So that's another way you can use candle magic to clear a house.
Yeah,
I've
I'll
done
try
that
that
several
too.
times.
Our daughter saw a woman twice today, and like 2 weeks ago, I think we were on one of our crystal lives, and there was a medium that was watching, and she said, "Oh, you have a lot going on in your house." And we're like, "What do you mean a lot going on in our house?" And she said, "There's a woman that's mostly here and very protective and probably protecting somebody in the house. And then there's a man that comes and goes."
Yeah, but we picked her up 2 investigations ago, so who
Yeah.
knows?
I think Hercules is signaling its time.
Yep. 1 minute.
Definitely.
Okay, well,
All right.
thank you, everybody. Thank you. It was just a great show. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
tips.
Thank you.
Blessings all. Wonderful
Bye.
working with
Bye.
you. Ciao.
Thanks
And
all.
thanks to all. Thanks to Paul. And Paul, we started a series of shows with Sue and with Setna that are instructional. I think what you guys all just shared would make a great show where you share your remedies for certain types of psychic conditions. So expect to be contacted.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night,
night,
everybody.
Bye.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.